Hello, it's Domino. I'm back in Resonite, here in my homeworld, and today we're going to be doing some building, because I had a commenter suggest that that would make some really good sounds. Some good sounds, some good sounds, some good sounds, some good sounds. Yeah, so I have a vague idea of what I'm going to be building. I'm thinking, I had this idea actually while I was sleeping, and I woke up this morning and I'm like, you know what, yeah, let's do it. So, oh yeah, so I guess I should kind of explain what's going on. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. So, I'm going to try to make a ASMR oriented object, and I'm just going to show you the whole process, in the hopes that my rambling, as well as maybe some controller noises, and maybe, you know, if any of you are interested in that, there's also that value as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna be making like, I had this idea for oh boy, an hourglass, that, like, you can flip upside down and it's gonna make different noises. Like, just turning it over is gonna generate noises. And I think I know exactly how I'm gonna do that. But I'm just gonna walk you guys through the processes of making the model, like how I'm gonna record the audio and import it in here, and then how I'm gonna do the scripting. And yeah, I think it should be pretty fun video. I don't know, we'll see. And hopefully the audio is good, because I got like a really strange setup to monitor the audio outputs, and I gotta remember that my microphone's right here in 3D space. So like, if I move my hand in between here and here, I'm gonna like smack the microphone stand. So hopefully I can remember not to do that, and you won't hear me have to like edit anything out. Well, I'm definitely gonna hit it, but hopefully we can limit that. Yeah, so let's start with the model. So I'm using Zaravi's tooltip here. Zaravi's a player in this game. He's the first person I met, actually. He's very cool guy. And he makes this tooltip. So I'm gonna create a new empty object, and this is just a point in 3D space with a little gizmo for moving it around. So on this I need, if we're gonna make a, you know, like a 3D kind of, oh boy, I don't know why it's doing that. If we're gonna make like a 3D kind of, like hourglass shape, I'm thinking something like two pyramids, kinda. I don't know, maybe that made sense. So we're gonna start off with a 3D model cone. So this is a very high poly cone. Well, not, you know, very high poly, but I want to lower the poly count so that it can be just a more of a boxy shape. I think would look good. So I'm going to go into the cone mesh, and I'm going to change the sides count from 32 to 3, just like that. And then I'm going to just duplicate this object, place it upside down. Oh, if I can orient myself there. There we go. Oh, and I've noticed something here. So I changed the sides count on the mesh render, or on the mesh, but not on the collider. So when I hover my laser over this object, it's actually not putting it in the right place, so I need to change that as well. So in the sides count, I need to change that also in the collider here, I think. Oh no, yeah, I'm gonna have to use a mesh collider instead of this cone collider, so I got a little ahead of myself here. So this cone collider doesn't have the options to change the amount of sides. So I need to add a physics colliders mesh collider instead of using this cone collider. And then I'm going to take this cone mesh that we have and I'm going to plug that into the mesh collider. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, cone mesh on cone. It was already in there. So now, when I hover my laser over it, when I hover my laser over it, it's correctly approaching the right point on the pyramid. So we got one down. So I'm gonna duplicate this guy, and I'm thinking this is what we're gonna have it look like, vaguely. Something like that. It's really primitive, but you know, doesn't need to be anything crazy. So I'm going to parent the cones under the empty object that we spawned out before. So now we have 2 cones. We have 2 cones, we have 2 cones, we have 2 cones under the empty object. And I'm going to delete the grabbable on them so that you have to grab the empty object as a whole instead of just the individual pyramids. So I deleted the grabbable components on each triangle, so now I can't grab it at all. So I'm going to rename this empty object to like ASMR. What did I call it? Hourglass. There we go. Perfect. And I'm going to add in transform interactions grabbable. So I can grab this object as a whole and not the individual parts of it. Perfect. Next, I'm going to just make it all in the right place. And what I mean by that is mathematically perfect. So that it's not like off center at all. I want it right in the right place. And then now, so we have this kind of squished object, and you know what, I kind of like the look of that. But I want it to be separated a little bit. So I'm going to add some offsets in the y-axis. So I'm going to change this y number to 0.1. And I'm going to change this one to negative 0.1. No. Stop it. I totally forgot to turn off my phone, and it just went off with a random spam call. So frustrating. Okay, so I have separated the 2 pyramids just by adding an offset. So the bottom one has an offset of negative 0.1 units, and the top one has an offset of 0.1 units, and both of those are in the y-axis. So that the origins of these 2 objects are now separated by 0.2 units. Okay, so we have this nice hourglass, right? But I kind of want to make better material for it, because this gray just doesn't look very nice. So I think I'm going to do the same material as my floor, actually. This is actually, I don't remember what material this is. I can check here. It's a Veroni crystal. Yes, it's a PBS Veroni crystal. So I'll create a new material. It's a PBS material. It's a PBS Veroni crystal. So this is what the default of a Veroni crystal looks like. And it's very nice. I like it a lot. But we can change some values here. I'm going to make it, guess what, yellow. You never would have guessed. I'm gonna make it yellow, or like an orangey kind of yellow. Perfect. And then we're gonna add a little bit of emissive color, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, that's a lot, but I like it. Yeah, I like that. Okay, perfect. I think that looks pretty good. Here we have it. That's a fun material. Yeah, let's use that. So now I want this material on these two objects. So I'm going to switch to my material tooltip. And then I'm going to equip the material in the tip. And I'm going to shoot those two boxes. And now we have an object that is made of that material. And yes, of course I can shoot myself. Just in case you were wondering. I know I would be. So we have this nice object, nice ASMR tingly object, of course, but it's not ASMR tingly. So how do we make it ASMR tingly? Well, we're gonna need noises for that, right? So I'm gonna switch to my microphone tooltip, which is the last one in this menu here. And then I'm gonna make some noises. So I think this would kind of have like a bubbly kind of noise, like a I don't know, something bubbly. I don't know how I would do that best. Like probably yeah, something like that. So I'm gonna click down with my primary to record an audio clip here. Okay, and then let's listen back. Yeah, it didn't pick it up all the way, because I have a little bit of a noise filter on my microphone right now. So let's just go into the menu and turn down the noise gate and the normalization threshold. And I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to take a deep breath because I want it all in one breath. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it looks like it did get a little bit quieter in this bit here. But I think this is pretty usable in the center. Yeah, that's okay. So I just want to cut this audio clip now to the usable part, because it looks like I might have even hit my microphone here. So I apologize if I did that. That's certainly what it sounds like. So I'm going to edit this guy. Get into the actual recording here. This static audio clip. Oh no. Yeah, here we are. So I want this audio clip. I just want the first, 9 seconds of this. Actually, you know what? Let's see what the rest of it sounds like this bit. Nah, let's get the first 9 seconds. So if this is a 22-second clip and we want the first 9 seconds, we're going to be removing 13? Yeah, 13 seconds from the end. That makes sense. 13 seconds, trim end. And then we're going to wait for this guy to update. Yeah, there we go. So now we just have the first 9 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. So this is one clip, and then I want to have one other clip for when you rotate it the other way. So I'm going to record another clip here. I'll keep this one up here. This one I think we could go for a, like a tick, tick-tock, 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 tick, or like a tick-tick-tick-tick-tick-tick-tick. I think maybe, what's a good yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, let's get the first 9 seconds of that too. I think that's good. So this clip, I'm going to get to the root of the object, go down to the clip. I want to just edit the end. From the end, I want to clip out, 14 seconds, 12 seconds? What's that? Yeah, 12 seconds. Trim from the end. And now we have another 9-second clip. Yeah, I think that sounds nice. It's not my finest work, but you know what? It's okay. Alright. Now we have both clips, and we have our object. So now we get to do the fun part, the part that I really like. We get to do the scripting. So I have a plan for how I'm going to do this. So if we look at the gizmo here, this is the origin of the object, if you can see that. That dot in the center of all the axes. That dot, the purple dot. Actually, there's 2 of them for some reason, but you know, the one where all the gizmo axes meet. That's the origin of this top pyramid. And this is the origin of the bottom pyramid. And now what I want to do is when you turn it over, what's going to happen is that the y coordinate of either of them is going to be higher or lower than the other. And what I mean by that is the global position of this gizmo compared to this one. So the top one right now is going to be at a higher height globally, so in relation to the ground. This will be higher than this one, and when you tip it around, this bottom one is going to be higher than the top one. And I can measure that, and I can check for when that happens. And when that happens, we can have it play the audio clips. So I'm going to start by going to my Flux tooltip. And then I'm going to spawn out a node browser. And I'm going to get 2 global transforms from transform. Here we have one and the other. So they take an instance as, oh sorry, you can't see that very well. How am I going to do this? Maybe I could do a better angle on this. Here we go. Yeah, so I won't be facing you, but hopefully you can see better. So I have 2 transform nodes here, and they each take a slot instance as an input, and they will output the X, Y, and Z coordinates of the global position. They will output the rotation as a quaternion value, or you can actually see it as an Euler value. Oh no, this is a quaternion. And then the global scale of that object. So what we're really concerned about is the global position of each of these guys. So what I'm going to do is grab a reference of the top one and the bottom one. It doesn't really matter which is which. And I'm going to plug them into the inputs there. So we have one pyramid connected to the global position and another pyramid connected to another global position. And then I'm going to unpack XYZ. So this would be a float 3. Because I just want to extract the y-axis information and compare them. So we have, this won't update, but we can just get the y coordinates. So this is the top one at the moment. The bottom one here is the top one at a height of 1.5 units. And this bottom one is at a height of 1.3 units. And we can see that they're a total of 0.2 units apart, just like we had before. So what I'm going to do is a comparison operator. So if we need a greater than node, greater than, value greater than, value greater than float. So if this top one is greater than this bottom one, then this value will be true. Right now that is false. And I'm just going to get an continuously updating relay just so that I don't look silly. I need it in a float variation. Here we have one. Oh, sorry, not float, whatever, doesn't matter. This guy right here. So, when we turn this guy upside down, that value goes from, oh, you can't see. When we turn the object upside down, the value changes from true to false, or from false to true. From true to false, or false to true. The point is that there's a change in this value here. So what I want to do is play an audio clip from that change. Whenever it changes, I want it to play an audio clip. So what I'm going to do is, in the flow section here, I'm going to use a fire on change. Fire on value change of type Boolean. So, this fire on change node takes a user to check with and a value to check, and it will output a pulse. So a pulse is you can use it basically as a call to a function. So when I change this, you can see it outputs a pulse, which is represented as a red line. So from there, I want to play an audio clip, and that's really easy. With the audio play one shot node. Play one shot, play one shot, play one shot, play one shot, play one shot. So, this guy takes a lot of inputs, but we're really only concerned about the pulse and the clip and the volume. But even the volume we don't really care about. And I do want to specify the root though. So let's say the root of the sound, so where the sound actually originates, should come from the empty object that we had made before. So the parent of the two prisms, not prisms, sorry, the parent of the two, oh boy, whatever, the parent of those objects, so the root of the object, the sound should originate from that point, and that's what I'm specifying here. Next, I need to determine which clip I'm going to be using. So in audio, or what is it, assets? Attach audio clip, I think. Actually, I haven't used this new one before. No. Clip. How am I going to do that? So I'm going to reference the audio clip, I think. It's probably how they want me to do it. So the static audio clip, I want a reference. Does that work? No, doesn't work. Okay. How am I going to do that? Because there used to be a node called an audio clip input. Let's see. They changed the names of everything when they moved over to Resonite, so I actually haven't used this one yet. Oh, right, maybe I can just get a clip input from here. There we are. Yeah. So using my secondary, I can just get an input like that. So we need two inputs, actually. One for our bubbly noise, and the other, which is our, what is it? Our ticky kind of noise. How are we going to determine which one to play, though? So we have a value here that changes. Is true or false, depending on the orientation of the object. So I'm going to use this as the operator for, sorry, not the operator, the conditional for a ternary operator. And what that means is when this guy says true, the output of a ternary operator will be a specific output, and when it's false, it will be a different output. And that guy is located in operators, and it's just called conditional, and we want a value conditional of type float. Not type float, it doesn't matter though, it'll auto-assign. So on true, we have our top audio clip, and on false, we have our bottom audio clip, and then the output of that goes into clip. And then we need to attach the condition, which just comes from this guy. So we're starting to get real messy, and as these projects often do, it's getting big. So how can I lay this out in a way where it makes sense to read? Generally, crossing wires like this is a bad idea because it's really difficult to tell where they're coming from, but I think I can get away with it for now. It's not too bad. So, I have a clip input. The volume's going to be set to 1 by default. I think that's okay. It should be spatialized, so I'll set this to true, just in case that wasn't the default. I think the default would actually be false. So let's just give it a try. So I like that, but I don't like how abruptly it stops. So I think we should have the volume just slowly decay, so we know both of our clips are 9 seconds in length. So what we can do is, let's see, what would be a smart way of doing that? So we want basically we want, as time moves forwards to 9 seconds, we want our value to go from 1 to 0. And that could be, I think actually a curve would be nice. So what would that look like? That would be, see, I could do the math and design a really nice function, or I could just cheat. And I think I might just be cheating. Because I already finished my finals. You guys can't make me do more work. So, I'm going to use the elapsed time node. This guy here. So, when this fire is called, this time here, can I get an output, please? Thank you. There we go. So this time node, just watch that as I turn this about. Yeah, so that time node as I got to 9 seconds was, it was on time with when this started, and it's just going to count forever. So, how can I make this affect the volume from 0 to 1? Well, I can use a remap node, which is going to remap a number, basically. So, let me just explain this real quick. So, the in minimum is the value that's coming in, the least value that's coming in as an input. So this minimum value, the time will only ever be as small as 0 seconds. So that'll be our in minimum, 0. Our in maximum, we want to get a range of numbers till 9 seconds, and then we stop caring. So our in minimum is 0. Our in maximum should be 9. Our out maximum should be 0, because as the time approaches 9 seconds, we want our volume to decay to 0. And our out minimum should be 1 second, because it should start when time is 0. The volume should be 1. And then our value that we pipe in is that time. So what this will look like is 0, 9, 1, 0. So you get this big tentacly node of values here. It's a little ugly, but it'll work. Hopefully I explained that in a way that makes sense, but I think really what will make the most sense is showing you the output. Oh, I gotta move my camera angle again. You guys are getting more and more behind me. So the output of this time is not going to make sense right now because the value is out of bounds. So it's going to give you some weird value, right? But when I switch the orientation, we start at 1 and we slowly go down over the course of, roughly 9 seconds. So, what does this look like in practice? Well, I actually don't know how the volume operates when you give it a negative number, and quite frankly, I don't want to find out. So what I'm going to do is clamp the value of this remap between the values of 1 and 0. So if it starts going negative, I just want it to be 0. So I can do that using a clamp 01 float node. So this guy is just making sure that any number that comes in that's greater than 1 just becomes 1, and any value that comes in that's less than 0 just becomes 0, and all of the values in between 0 and 1 just pass straight through. So we have our clamped value. I'll give you a show of what that sounds like. See, I might have just encountered a bug or a feature, depending on who you ask, where if you grab this thing and you just shake it about, it's not gonna like stop the other one and start the next. It's just gonna overlap them. But I think that's fine. That's okay. But hopefully that gave a, somewhat okay demonstration of what the clamp does. Minus the confusion of hitting it multiple times. So let's lay this out a little bit nicer, now that we have some values that are starting to modify this thing. How can I lay this out which makes sense? Something like this, I think, would look good. Let's get that guy out of the way. Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense, I think. It's not too bad. Hopefully you can see that. Oh no, you can't. I'm just going everywhere with this camera. Okay, so now that everything's plugged in, I think it should be behaving correctly. Oh, yeah, it doesn't actually update, does it? Or is it? Oh, so I think the volume is evaluated right at the pulse. So at the pulse, the volume is 1, and I don't think it checks the value after the pulse. So how are we going to change this so that it actually works right? Well, I think what we can do is use a slightly different method of playing the audio. Using the, what is it called? Media, this node here, the play node. I think this guy can help us. So our target should be a playable input. So what I'm gonna do is on our Hourglass root, on the root here, on the root, I'm going to add a media utility, or no, not utility, we want a child to parent audio clip player. Yeah, that'll probably be fine. Yeah, let's give that a go. So this is going to be a little This is going to be a little bit complicated because I'm changing the way that we're interacting with the audio here. And I'm going to try to explain what I'm doing. So, before we had the ternary operator going into the play one shot, but now I have it going into the clip input on my child parent audio clip player. And I've never used this before, so we'll see if this actually behaves how I expect it to. And then I think we can just reference this guy. No, iPlayable input. iPlayable input. How do I get this guy going? You know what, let's do a little bit of digging around in the default player. Because this guy has an audio player interface already. And I think that's probably what we need. That's probably what we need, probably what we need, probably what we need. So let's give that a try. I'm going to copy component, on, we're getting real messy here, but hopefully you guys are asleep by now. I don't know if that's gonna happen though. This might be a little bit too chaotic. Clip here. Let's get a reference. Or sorry, no, not a reference. We want a drive node. And that wants an asset reference to an audio clip. Shoot. Asset reference. Yeah, that's not how I would do this at all. Okay. I've got a genius, brilliant idea. I'm gonna not do that. And I might just put these guys in the object. And then play the audio from here. Somehow. I think I can do that. How am I gonna do that? Asset. Audio output. Is this what they want? No. This one? Yes, the audio clip player. Audio clip player. Yes, I remember now. That's how you're supposed to do it. I'm getting so messy here. This is awful. It's because I disabled my inputs that I don't move around. Because if I move around, this microphone isn't in the right place according to where I am in my room. So, okay. I need an audio clip player on the root of the hourglass. So I'm going to copy the component, and then I'm going to drive the clip based on this conditional operator, which is perfectly fine. And then the play node will come from the audio clip player. Awesome. So we will play this iPlayable with the initiation of the elapsed time node. So when the counter starts counting, it will play the audio clip. And now we input the volume into the volume of this audio clip player. So we can do that with, I think it's called the set, where is it? Volume, set volume. No. Where is it? Playback. Where's the volume on this guy? I actually don't know. Oh, would it be on the clip itself? No, it wouldn't. So how do they do that? They use an audio output. Oh, yes, so that's what I'll need as well. Copy component. Not that one. We want this as the source. Here we are. And the volume will be driven right here. Okay, so now, if that was enough tinkering about, theoretically, it does nothing. It does nothing. Why is that? Well, the volume was correct. And it is playing. Now, why would I not hear anything? We have the source correct. Oh, it's disabled. I needed to enable the component for some reason. That's silly. Perfect. So it just slowly falls off in volume. Nice. So, the final step of this procedure. Well, I mean, I would like to clean up these notes, but you know what? It's fine. It's okay. We have our final product here. We have our final product. So, in our root of the object, I'm going to create a new child, and I'm going to call it Flux. 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 Flux, 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 flux. And I'm going to select all of our flux, and I'm going to pack it into that slot. So our programming now lives inside our object. Now, I just smacked the fuck out of my microphone. Okay. Let's not do that. Yeah, that's cool. Alright. We made our thing. We made our thing. We made our thing. Thank you all for coming along with me on this journey. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully all the audio came out alright. I wasn't monitoring the volume out, so we'll see if I made some oopsies in the moving around and all that. We'll see. I don't know. I think I only really smacked the microphone like 4 or 5 times, so that won't be too much work to edit out, I think, but well, we'll see. So thank you all for watching. I guess I can, you know what, let's just give some tingles at the end with our new object. I'll make it scalable.